Starting a property portfolio in 2022 may seem daunting. In this video, I'll be talking about my personal property plan in 2022 and how I would start a property portfolio from scratch if I had nothing in 2022. So if you don't have anything, no properties, and you want to start in 2022, not sure if it's the right time or not, or perhaps you already have some properties, one or two, but not sure how to build out your portfolio in 2022, then keep watching. My name is PK and I help people build passive income and wealth through property investing, through the Property Investment Accelerator, using data without needing to plonk down $15,000 on a buyer's agent every single time. This channel exists to help you get ahead in real estate in Australia. If you're new, please give it a like, give this video a like, give it a subscribe. I know I'm asking favors, but that would be super useful for me. All right, guys, let's get into it. So I'll start off by talking about my property plan, and then we'll go to how, I would start it from scratch. So, I've literally just bought, I know it's only February, but I've literally just bought $3 million worth of property. I'm not making this up, I swear. You can see in my Facebook group. $3 million of property, residential property that is, and my plan is to buy another 2 million. Okay, fingers crossed, another 2 million by the end of this year. Okay, where I've parked my money is on the Gold Coast. All right, and I've talked about Gold Coast so much. I'm overweight on Queensland now. I'm overweight on Queensland. People say you need to be diversified across different states. That is 100% true. But if you're so confident in particular locations in the same state, especially like Queensland, it's a huge state, right? And you got completely different economies. If you can be diversified even within one state, then that's fine as well. So my property portfolio, now 12 properties, spans multiple states, different ownership structures, but I'm definitely overweight on Queensland. And I've done 2 or 3 videos breaking down my portfolio, numbers, valuations, rents, locations. I'll put those videos as cards at the end of this video. But why am I telling you this? The reason I'm telling you this is I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I'm a small person, really kind of irrelevant in the scheme of things. But I just wanted to illustrate that I am putting my money where my mouth is. But what I really want to talk to you about in this video is how you can start, how I would start from nothing in 2022 if I wanted to build passive income, if I wanted to build wealth through property in Australia. Okay, so number one thing I'll say, let's say, you're thinking, well, property prices have gone nuts. They've gone completely berserk. I don't have enough money to start. The first thing I want to say is you only really need about $40,000. $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 is really is all you need. I'm talking including transaction costs right here. Like I had a client recently, he bought for $218,000. Now you may say that's a rundown crappy place. That is the Sydney, Melbourne mindset. The rest of Australia is still part of Australia. There's still plenty good places to buy for under $300,000. So you leverage up, use the bank's money to get yourself into an asset. Okay, that is the most important thing, to take action, to get in. Okay, so that's the first thing. You don't need $80,000, $100,000, $200,000. Sometimes these, property investment companies, they sell house and land packages, and they say you need a minimum a minimum deposit of $70,000, $80,000, $90,000. That's because they're selling you brand new house and land packages. You don't need to buy that stuff, guys. In fact, I don't recommend it even if you had that money. The second thing that you need to know about, or how I would start a property portfolio in 2022, is you should only, let me say that again, you should only, let me say it again one more time to just kind of, hammer it home. You should only buy positive cash flow properties. I've always said that, right? I mean, you can go back to the last 275 videos. I'm harping on about the same thing, but you understand why now, right? Interest rates are rising, rents are rising as well. Okay, so both your expenses will rise, but your income will rise. Cash flow will remain constant. There are always going to be markets within markets, suburbs that are going to buck the trend and they're going to rise despite interest rate movements. In fact, I'll do a whole video on why I think interest rates won't increase in the next 2 or 3 years by more than 1%. Neutral interest rates, different topic, but positive cash flow properties, why are they so important? Just for sound sleep at night. Okay, even if you don't have a positive cash flow property right now, your rents are going to increase almost in most parts of Australia, big rental crisis, by as much as interest rates. But positive cash flow just gives us that extra buffer. Of course, we want to build passive income. That's what positive cash flow is. But it gives us that added buffer that even if rents didn't increase, significantly, won't happen, let's just go with that, and interest rates went up by 0.5%, 1%, we still don't need, quote unquote, to sell that property. We should never buy property that we have to sell. That is a wrong idea. That's a bad strategy, because we need to hold these properties for the long term, for the to achieve the fruit, to let that fruit ripen, mature, and then we can pick it off the tree and retire. Okay, so that's really fundamental. We should never have to sell those properties, and positive cash flow is the way to do it. Now, number 3, I'm not in Sydney, Melbourne, I live in Brisbane, but if I was in Sydney, Melbourne, I would not be buying in Sydney, Melbourne, right? Guys, Sydney, Melbourne are in the point of their cycle where it's higher risk to buy there than places like Brisbane, Adelaide, Perth, other regional areas. So just forget it. This is not obviously financial advice, but just forget it. You can buy cheaper, higher growth, believe it or not. Yep, I know what you're thinking. All the jobs are in Sydney, Melbourne. Doesn't work that way, guys. Look at the statistics. Higher growth, more positive cash flow, cheaper properties outside of Sydney, Melbourne. So become a borderless investor. Guys, if I've still got a few things to say, hit the subscribe button, give it a like. That helps me. Do that right now. I would super appreciate it. The next thing I want to say is obviously buy interstate, but use data. Let me say that. Use data to overcome your fears of buying in regional locations, because some regional locations right now are interest rate proof. What makes me say that? How can I make such an audacious statement? It's because some of these regional locations, it would require 4%, 5% interest rates to rise. Let me say that again, interest rates to rise by 4 or 5%. For affordability to become a problem. So right now already affordability is a problem in Sydney, Melbourne, right? It doesn't require an interest rate increase to prove that. But in many regional areas, there's so much buffer. And so interest rates will have negligible, if no effect at all in many regional locations. So I know what you're thinking, regional, country town, rural, mining town. I mean, there's regional areas that you should be running away from, and then there's regional areas which you should be embracing. But instead, because of unfounded fears, you're running away from and leaving money on the table. That's how I would personally do it in 2022. I would start with either secondary capital cities like Perth, Adelaide, Brisbane, or regional centers, okay? Not Hobart, way too overpriced. Locals can't afford there anymore. Not Sydney, not Melbourne. All right. And the next thing, I think we're up to number 5, never sacrifice capital growth, okay? Never sacrifice capital growth. Yes, this year you're going to get massive capital growth again, much like the previous year, 2020. In fact, Westpac has just come out and said, this is after all this interest rate, boo-ha. They've come out and said that, we're revising our growth projections for 2022 because we think we're a bit too soft before. So they've actually been more aggressive. They've revised their housing growth projections. The media's not telling you this, right? Because it's all doom and gloom. Westpac have actually come out and said this. Now, of course, Westpac and no bank is ever right, but I'm just trying to illustrate a point. This year you'll get so much growth, but we will never ever sacrifice capital growth. Don't just buy a property because it's positive cash flow. Okay, don't just do that. There are plenty of locations regionally and in Brisbane, Ipswich, other areas like that will give you positive cash flow, but never sacrifice growth. For that, you need to learn data. Okay, and the last thing is diversify into other states. Okay, different states. Different states allow you to ride the cycle, property cycle, at different times in your portfolio development. What I mean by that is, if you have 5 properties in 5 different states, at any one year, you will be riding growth. okay? Because the whole property market doesn't go up and down in unison across all states, cities, and towns. They all have their own cycles. So by diversifying, you're not only hedging your risk, but you're always making money because there's always at least one place that's going up and the rent's always increasing, okay? So those are sort of 6 principles that I would use to build a portfolio, a property portfolio from scratch in 2022. Okay, hopefully that was useful. I'm hoping it wasn't sort of too high level. If you want me to go deeper, if you like this, you want me to go deeper, then leave a yes below in the comments, YES. Leave a yes below. And guys, if you want to step up your learning, if you really want to take the bull by the horn in 2022, block the noise, the media, the friends, the colleagues, the acquaintances, and really take charge of your financial future, then step up your learning. Guys, there'll be links below to the Facebook group, more than 12,000 people there, great discussions, there's a brilliant community, and also linked to the podcast. All right, guys, so look, I'm not saying you need to do the Property Investment Accelerator. Try to do this yourself. I'll be continuing to give you tips, but if you do need help, I'm always happy to help as well. All right, guys, I'll be buying property. Hope the same for you, and best of luck. My name's PK. Catch you later. Bye.